Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. I'm here with Marvin Rosenberg. Marvin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, man. It's really an honor to be here with you this morning. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right into it. So, you are running a phenomenal mortgage business. Would you mind sharing with our listeners just kind of like roughly where your volumes sit right now, where you're located, that sort of stuff?
Yep. So volume for 2020 was $100 million. Um, I'm a team of one loan officer, one branch manager. That's myself. And
Wow.
I have a support team of about 5 people
Okay.
to help me do all of that business. And Chris, I got to tell you, this year I'm actually rather amazed because for let's call it 11 months, it looks like we're in the 70 million range. I really wasn't expecting business to continue at this level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
That's amazing. Well, and man, 100 million. What a wonderful number. That's
It's an
fantastic.
awesome milestone, I have to tell you. Very proud of the efforts of the company I'm with, Absolute Home Mortgage, my amazing team, my processors, my loan officer assistants. I just simply could not have done it without them.
Yeah, and so I'll ask you a little bit about your team structure and how you're able to process that type of volume with a team as efficient as that. But what I'd like to start with, and what a lot of our listeners are here for, is how on earth did you bring in $100 million worth of business? What does your marketing look like? How are you creating those loans?
So, Chris, the number one thing for everyone to really think about and pay attention to is building your database.
Yeah.
So, this is my 19th year in the mortgage industry, and we built the database. And I'll actually be honest, more than one database, right? We have different systems, and we have been consistently marketing to our past clients.
Yeah.
So that involves making phone calls about 4 times per year to all of the clients in the database. We send handwritten birthday cards with pretty cute notes. We send a birthday email. Um, Sometimes I feel like I'm connecting with my clients on birthdays more than their family. Uh, Kind of funny. Um, we have a pretty cool newsletter that we have been doing for more than 15 years. That newsletter is not selling them mortgage stuff. It's just really cool, interesting information. Like people will post it on a bulletin board at work or share it with a family member. It's talked about, and we are always working on engagement with clients.
Yep.
So, for example, as we come to Thanksgiving, we've had Marvin's coloring turkey coloring contest for more than 15 years, and
Oh
like we'll
wow.
fill walls in the office with hand drawn colored turkeys from little kids.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, well, so listen, the best part, there's always a winner of the prize, right?
Yep.
But the best part is that every single kid wins. So we
Right.
might send them a gift certificate for ice cream at Baskin and Robbins, right? Like we make every kid feel special, and it's all part, Chris, of that experience of what it's like to work with, Mortgage Marvin, right?
Yep.
Um, in a non-COVID world, I used to attend most of the closings and bring a cool closing gift. We would do uh, something that lasts, right?
Right.
Like real cool doormats, for example, and they're
Oh, cool.
wrapped beautifully. So there's this wow when you walk into the room with what you're doing. And, like we do lots of tokens of appreciation. So, Chris, if you introduce me to your best friend, I might send you a Dunkin' Donuts card or a Starbucks card, right? But those who give, you have to give them more,
Yeah.
like you really need to take care of all of those people who've given you those acres of diamonds, right?
Yes. I love
And
that book.
last year was the reward for keeping in touch and showing appreciation. Um, and I'll give Susan credits here. All of the efforts that she has done on marketing, For 19 years, it was the reward for that. Clients were happy to introduce me to their friends and family, regardless of how far back they had worked with me.
That's amazing.
It was incredible.
That and so now you mentioned Susan, and so I'm assuming that well, so I know Susan, we've got a great relationship, but for listeners that are listening that don't know Susan, what's her role in the company and what does she do?
So Susan's the marketing manager, right?
Okay.
So she helps with making sure that the marketing all gets done. Um, I mean, it's really, really important for everyone to understand. You can't do it all,
That's
right?
right.
So my team works as Marvin, right?
Yep.
So loan officers may be answering an email as Marvin. They might be making a phone call on my behalf. The only way to grow is to have your team working as you.
That's right.
And you know who we learned that from, right? So one of our buddies called that the Dr. Butler dialogues, right?
Yes.
Very, very, very cool and very powerful.
Excellent. And I would love to give a shout out to Carl White because I'm a huge fan. I always recommend the Mortgage Marketing Animals and the Freedom Club. Can't give that a high enough recommendation. So tons of gold and acres of diamonds that come out of that group as well.
100%. Correct.
Awesome. So you mentioned, I mean, there's a lot, those are basic things, but having the consistency to do them. Now, is Susan making the phone calls to the past clients and is she writing the newsletter as well?
We edit a newsletter, so we do buy a product that's out there,
Okay.
and then she tweaks it. So Susan's an editor. She's always editing whatever it is. And yeah, she makes all of the marketing happen.
Awesome.
All of it. Yep. This year, we're going to we are, I shouldn't say probably, we're going to implement a Thanksgiving pie giveaway.
Nice.
We've never taken on something of that size. Very much on my radar is to start to do events for past clients.
Yes.
It's a little bit more challenging as a lender because our clients are more geographically diverse. But I think it's one of the great, great successes that some of my realtors do.
Yeah.
So I'm a little envious. It's time to do that.
That's a great plan. And so I know of a couple of clients of ours. One does an annual, they rent out the movie theater and they host a barbecue in the parking lot. So everybody can come, and if they don't want to go see the movie with the kids or whatever, they can still come in, have the barbecue thing. They invite the local radio station in, and they do a movie thing. He's been doing it for years now and has a fantastic response on it. Another one does a bowling alley thing. So there's all kinds of great ideas out there for running that.
Pumpkin patch is a great one. You give out apple cider, cider donuts. They can pick pumpkins, go for rides, and do other cool things. That's a real cool one. Someone recently did one that I was like, wow. So there's this massive balloon festival in New Jersey every year.
Okay.
And they rented a tent and brought in tons of their past clients to watch this balloon festival. I thought that was super cool.
That is a great idea. So for all of our listeners, what's that one thing that happens in your market? What's that one unique thing that you can tap into and look at that joint venture? Like think about a farm patch, like here in Ontario, it's massive. Like when you go out to the farm festivals on the fall weekends, the amount of foot traffic is just unbelievable. For you to be able to have a tent and your brand and tie your client appreciation event to a place that's getting thousands of people that are going to attend it anyway, that's a huge win for both sides.
It is. It is. It's those types of experience that create deeper connections that will go way past the monthly bill from the mortgage company, where all of a sudden, when it's time to refinance, they call you, like, I'm calling my mortgage company, like the servicer, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're keeping in front of the clients that they acquired, but we have to make sure that the client remembers that what really happened was because of our efforts.
That's right. We did a great episode with Jen Conley earlier on the
Uh-huh.
podcast, and we
Yeah, no,
talked about story selling. And one of the things that a client event like that does is it gives your clients the story that they need to sell you to their friends, their family, their coworkers. You provide them with that experience, and it's something that they can then share and talk about and put on social media. And it's just, all kinds of benefits to that.
so that's actually a brilliant marketing piece. So an old coach in the industry, Joe Stumpf, was very big on that.
Yep.
And you know his buddy Dean, right?
Yep.
Um, so they had monthly postcards, and
Yeah.
each one told a story.
Yep.
It might have been about debt consolidation. It might have been about purchasing a home. Maybe that home had a yard with a fence for their dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
But each of those were success stories. And that's a brilliant way for us to market to our past, letting people know that we do lots of different things.
Absolutely. So that's the database marketing. How much of your business would you say comes from the database, if you could rough ballpark it?
More than half.
Wow.
Yeah, probably 60%. I mean, there's more referrals from past clients than referrals from business partners.
That's phenomenal. That is amazing. Um, and in the grand scheme of things, all those referrals are high quality clients. They've got good credit. They're easy to work with. They're fun. They'll refer more business. It's a whole lot better than, internet lead generation and trying to pound through 100 leads.
They literally are excited to talk to you
Yeah.
and excited to do business with you. You don't have to sell them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge.
Absolutely the easiest business. And it makes you feel good too, right? Like
Yeah.
not only does that new client feel good, but you do.
Yeah.
Real
Which
important. Yeah,
that's everybody wins.
100%.
So, Marvin, share with me the other side of the marketing. So you've got your past clients, that's a huge driver for you, but then you've also got referral partners. So what are the other areas that you're getting business from?
So, obviously the realtors are a big segment of the business. A little bit from divorce attorneys, a little bit from accountants. Um, and I got to tell you, one of the things that I'm really excited about, though, Chris, is you and I just started a campaign.
Yes.
And so using the Google My Business page, that platform, so we have already been doing organically phenomenal business off of the Google My Business page
Yes.
and about 100 reviews that I had there, right? Um, I do really, really well on a local Facebook community page.
Okay.
So, that's been a component of where I'm going to call them referrals, right? Because it's pretty amazing when 10, 15 people from the town that you live in say, hey, this guy is amazing. You have to call him, right? Um, but you and I just started the campaign with Google. We're only up a few days. So I'm really excited about that because they're predominantly local. They see the local reviews. So I think that should be a real win. I'm really looking forward to seeing your efforts make that one work for me.
Absolutely. And for our listeners and for your information as well, there's really three main benefits that come with that Google My Business page because, well, Google has been running them for a decade now, and they just gave us the ability to run advertisements. So we can make the 3-pack turn into a 4-pack, and your ad shows up as the number one placement on the map placement, and we can get it there the next day. So you instantly start getting more phone calls, but it's also not geographically limited. So we can start showing your ads statewide. And those people see your Google My Business page with all the ratings and reviews. But the really cool thing about it is that Google My Business page taps into not just people that are searching for your brand and not just people that are looking for best loan officer near me, loan officer approval right now. There's all kinds of great, really high quality phrases that people are searching for. But Google also has a section of that algorithm, and roughly 20% of your traffic is going to come from people searching your competitors' names. So when somebody searches for the loan officer shop down the road, you're going to show up on the Google My Business page. And if you've got more reviews and more compelling reviews than your competitor, we're generating phone calls from people that aren't doing the database stuff that you're doing. If there's just a lender out there that's just processing loans, they're not following up with their past customers, they don't have the relationship, they don't have that fundamentals built with the database, that can become your customer. So we're very excited to see the results that you get from that as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, me too.
Awesome. So let's very quickly dig into Realtor Referral Partners, and let's do some brainstorming on the best ways to go out and get new partners into the business. So what does your process look like right now? Are you doing Thor's Hammer calls out to database of realtors that you're working, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so I'm not doing the Thor's Hammer calls.
Okay.
So those calls, for those who may not be familiar with it, like every Monday to call 100 people and trying to get an opportunity to actually talk to, let's say, 20 of them and ask for a meeting, right? Maybe meet for a cup of coffee, right? Yep. For me, I found that to be painful. Okay, so I need to feel good about my efforts, my time. That was just very, 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 very challenging. So what we focus on are the realtors that are on the other side of the transaction.
Yes.
So we do weekly calls to them, giving them updates. And what we're looking for are realtors who are saying, wow, that is really amazing service. We're really impressed by you. And those are the realtors that we're asking for opportunities with, right?
Yep.
There is value for always keeping in touch with past realtors, because in order for a realtor to make a move, they have to be in pain. Yep. Something is happening with their current lending relationship, which is saying, wow, I really need to try someone new. And Marvin has kept in touch with me for all these years.
Yep.
My feeling is that real loyal relationships happen that way.
That's right.
If someone isn't loyal, then you'll be bounced also. So you call someone, they agree to meet, they ask for money, you say yes. Not something that I do. The relationship has to be rooted first, and then we can talk about co-marketing.
Yeah.
Co-marketing doesn't happen first for me, right?
That's right.
So there's years and years of realtors that we've worked with, and you got to keep in touch with them.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And are you doing a weekly text that goes out to that whole list, or is it all manual calls that are going out?
Not right now. We've done texting in the past. I think that you have to draw a balance, and the balance is between email communication, actually picking up the phone and calling, which is at the end of the day the number one.
Yes.
Right. If they're making time to talk to you, you have certainly added some value in your relationship, and they want to hear from you.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll go back and start adding texting in, but it has to be with a real purpose.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what's your message going to be? You have to fine tune that so that you're not just barraging them 3 times a week with communication.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I find event-based texting is great to the realtors to give them just that little status update on the marketplace.
Yep.
And then again, based on how you're comfortable with it, but just before the weekend comes up, either on a Thursday or a Friday, that whole, hey, we're working this weekend, so if you need anything or you need a pre-approval, give the office a call.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or the Thursday text that says, do you already have plans to take somebody out?
Ooh.
That should get pre-approved today, so it's not a panic phone call at Saturday at 6:00.
I love that. That's fantastic. Very generous, Marvin, for all of that. So now we know how to bring the loans in. Now let's talk about your process. What does your team look like? Are you taking the mortgage application? What does your process look like in the business?
So today it's myself and my loan partner, my loan officer assistant. I have had 2 And right now I'm interviewing and looking for a second loan officer assistant, right?
Okay.
So I realized that this year I became another loan officer assistant myself.
Yeah.
So I need to fire myself from that role, right?
Yes.
I've actually been pretty tough on myself. One of my personal goals was to work 4 days a week. That's
Nice.
probably still more hours than most people do in a regular week. I'm probably at 50 for 4 days. So my goal is to get to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday where I can absolutely trust that every call is being handled by my team, right?
Yeah.
And that's not an easy task, right? I mean, we're the business owner, so we have that mindset, but that is what we're going to make happen this coming year. So my team is myself and a loan partner, and we will flip flop depending on who's in the middle of an activity.
Okay.
So I might take the initial call, be Mr. Schmooze, and then look to hand off the application to my loan officer assistant or send an online application, right? So as we start to see a little bit of a shift in volume, I will try to take more applications rather than hand them off because you do have fallout when you say, I'm going to send you the online application, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
So I want to work on retaining as many of the opportunities that come. And there's nothing better than saying, hey, how do you spell your name? And jumping into it, right?
Yep.
So it'll go either way, who takes the application. And then we work on structuring it, right? So either of us will structure it and package up that deal, right?
Yep.
And pitch it, right? Um, and then the file, we gather our docs. That's done upfront by us, right? Usually my loan officer assistant will gather everything, structure everything, and then the file gets handed off to our processors. So
Okay.
two processors, one rock star processor and one more of a junior processor, and they will get the file ready for the underwriting team. And
Okay.
truthfully, the underwriters at my company will fight for the loans that we have packaged because they're nice, easy loans to approve, not a lot of conditions. And then, the processors will continue to work with the clients. I'm really out of the picture except for rate locks or any type of problems.
Very cool. And once the deal closes, I know we're not attending closings right now, but what does your process look like? I mean, you've got 100 reviews. You processed $100 million in volume in 1 year. What does that initial follow-up process with the deal look like after close to get those reviews and start generating that referral relationship?
Yeah, so we're working on tweaking this right now. We're going to make sure that there is communication at the point of clear to close to get the Google review, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we have had 3 years with mixed messages on where to go for reviews, right? So first we had the Zillow thing,
Yep.
right? So now we're pretty much on board that, okay, we're Zillow haters, right? We're going to focus on us, not them. Um, our company likes Social Survey, but Social Survey has never given us the juice that we got out of Google. Google is the winner, right? So we want to get ahead of our company in asking for the review. Your client may not want to post 2 reviews, right?
Right.
So let's get the one which is going to generate the most bang for us, which is Google.
Very good. That is fantastic. And so you've got an incredible opportunity for realtors in your marketplace to work with you. I mean, the systems, the processes, the volume, the happy customers coming out the back end, and then also an opportunity for loan officers to join your team and be able to plug into your system. So how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Thank you. My phone number is 732-446-2900. I would love to speak to loan officers who want to elevate. It's interesting, Chris. I've reached that point of maturity where I want to give back.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to give back to loan officers would be to bring them on board and show them that they can build a referral based business that will give them the future opportunity to produce this kind of volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being able to plug into those systems on day one, I mean, what an incredible gift to be able to, skip the year-long learning curve or more of like what works, what doesn't, how do you do it, all of that incredible stuff.
I wore out a few shoes to learn.
Yeah. That's so true. Marvin, again, thank you for being so generous with your time.
And awesome speaking to you today.
Likewise. And for all of our listeners, don't forget to head over to iTunes and subscribe. Hit us with a 5-star review. That helps us get more incredible guests like Marvin on the show. We really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Hey, it's Chris Johnstone. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. I hope that you loved it and got incredible value from it. Right now, it's time to head on over to iTunes and leave your 5-star review if you enjoyed this episode. When you do, you will be entered into our monthly draw to receive an Amazon gift card. So go ahead, leave that review today. It also helps us attract top talent and really get incredible interviews lined up for you so that we can share even more value for you. Now, for the show notes and for all of the resources that were mentioned in this episode, you can head on over to loanofficerwealth.com. That's loanofficerwealth.com. You get access to all the show notes from all the episodes, all the past episodes, get notified of new episodes when they drop, and we've also got some very special bonuses for you over on that page when you opt in. So head on over and opt in today, and we look forward to sharing the next episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast with you soon.